from Galilee comes along and says, well, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You need to go out into the deep and let down your nets again. See, I think that would have sounded pretty illogical. What do you think? I can just imagine Simon said, hey, I am the professional fisherman. You are a carpenter. And what do you know about the fishing business? But what does Peter do? He pushes out into the deep. He lets down his nets. And they're filled. I may doubt his presence. I may doubt his ways, and I may even doubt his word at times. I doubt myself. There are times when I doubt my abilities. There are times when I do not feel competent. There are times that I may doubt my knowledge. But even when I am struggling, and I may be thinking, there's no way. I sat in my mother's living room, Christmas night. My brother Clarence had been an alcoholic all of his life. Began drinking young. Had severe diabetes. All the family had left. Clarence is sitting there in his wheelchair, and he begins to cry. He looks at me, and he says, there's no way that God would ever forgive me. It was a very emotional night. My mother came in, his wife came in. We were all crying. And my sister-in-law said to him, said, oh, you're just hard, Clarence, and I just need to take you home and put you to bed. He was a total invalid. Could not walk. He had had a major stroke. My wife had gone to see my brother. And when she went, he was in the hospital, and she says, I don't want you to go with me. I want to go by myself. I need to talk to him about his relationship with God. So Jenny went to the hospital, and she spent a considerable amount of time with my brother. And she came home, and she says, oh, he's calloused. He is so hard, so unyielding, so unbending. She says, I don't even feel like there was a crack in the door. So my sister-in-law takes him out of my mother's house, and I'll just tell you, church, that night I was so torn. And I said, after the life, I said, I don't know what to do, and my wife said to me, she said, I know what I would do. I would go to my brother's house tonight. I'll tell you, church, one of the hardest visits ever made. But I waited until I was sure that she had him in bed, and I went and I knocked on the door, and she came, and I knew that she did not share my religious convictions. But I said to her, I said, Clarence is my brother. I need to spend time with him tonight. And she says, I understand. You come in. I stood, and that was probably about 8:30 in the evening, and I stood by my brother's bedside until 12:30 a.m. sharing with him the good news of the gospel. And at 12:30, he says, I want to give my life to Jesus. December the 26th, along with the assistance of a couple other brethren, we put him on a chair and carried him into the baptistry. And I immersed him into Christ. 3 months later, he died. Here's what I'm saying. I may question, I may doubt whether or not a person is going to surrender and yield and commit. Let me tell you what my responsibility is. My responsibility is to share Jesus. My responsibility is to share the gospel and to leave it to God. Leave it to God to open the heart. Leave it to God to bring about the new birth. Leave it to God to give the increase. The next thing that I learned, and my time's gone, very quickly, I learned from this passage that there must be a consciousness of personal sin. Here's what happens. They go out and they fish, and their nets are full, right? They come back in, and what is Peter's response? How does he respond? Let me tell you, his response is, "Depart from me, I am a sinful man." I want to ask you something. What had Peter done that was so sinful? Now, I think that the text would indicate that that there may have been some doubt. Let me tell you what I think is going on here. Peter had fished all night and caught nothing. He yielded to Jesus and the command of the Lord, and the nets are full. And so he is now comparing his results with the results of Jesus. And you see, any time that I lay my life and you lay your life down beside the life of the Lord Jesus, you are going to become aware of your sinfulness. Here's what I'm saying. I must be conscious of my own sinfulness if I'm going to bring others to Jesus. There must be a deep, keen awareness that I am a sinner saved by grace. I must never project a self-righteous attitude. It is when I feel the most sinful and the most unworthy, these are the times when Jesus can use me best. And the last thing that I see in this text is I get a greater vision. The vision is catching men for Jesus. Listen to me, and I'm done. Careful. I do not catch men for baptism. I do not catch men for some religious system. I do not catch men for the church. I do not catch men for some set of doctrines. I do not catch men for some form or some pattern. No. I catch men for Jesus. And whenever you have caught a man for Jesus, that person will do whatever Jesus has asked him to do. When Jesus says, "Believe and be baptized," that person will do exactly what Jesus had asked him to do. God can use you, and God can work through you. And so this week I challenge you to be here for every service, but I would also challenge you to pray and ask God to use you to influence some sinner's life that needs more than anything else in this world to be forgiven. Let's pray. Father, thank you for these moments that we've had together in your word. And I just pray that you will help us to have a greater vision of catching men for Jesus. Bless our week together. Bless this church family here at Orville. And bless your word as it is proclaimed. I pray that souls will be saved. In the name of Christ we ask. Amen.